Trump's already working. He's already working. He has not even been sworn in yet, and he's already working hard to get started as soon as he gets sworn in. Now, this is a man that actually wants to get things done. He showed during his first presidency that he actually wanted to get things done, which was great. We all benefited. Everybody in the United States benefited. Left, right, between, center. Falling off the. People on the left who fell off the cliff because they were so low. They all benefited. But because liberals are just so. I don't want to use the word. They have their head in the sand. They fight it all the time. But, Trump doesn't care because he has one mission and one mission only, to basically get the country back to where it was, being more independent, not being dependent on other countries. Like during COVID, we found out, I didn't know this, but we found out 96% of our antibiotics comes from China. And then we found out even more that a lot of our stuff comes from China. And nobody realized all this stuff. Nobody knew that how badly we are dependent on China's production, right? So what happens is, the more we become independent, the less we are dependent on other countries. So, when the first CHIP Act was passed, the corrupt politicians in Washington, they ran off to make millions by investing in companies who make chips and stuff like that, and copper, so because they're the true insider, they're the masters of the insider trading. But let's read about this. Trump orders congressional Republicans to pass the mother of all MAGA bills, right? I love how they word these things. This is they try to make people scared. President-elect Trump ordered congressional Republicans Sunday to pass one powerful MAGA bill that will ram through his most controversial policies on everything from taxes to immigration. Why is it controversial? I don't see it as controversial. Why is it controversial? We have an immigration problem in this country because liberals, they can't say illegal immigrants. They have to say undocumented. They can't say homeless. They have to say unhoused. They can't say drug addict. They have to say sick. They just play word salad, just like Kamala did, right? Republicans might unite and quickly deliver these historic victories for me, American people. Not for me, sorry. Historic victories for the American people. Get smart, tough, and send the bill to my desk to sign as soon as possible. He wrote in a Sunday evening post on his Truth Social network. Make America great again. Trump has made promises to enact a merciless immigration crackdown that could see millions deported, to cancel green energy projects, to make way for more oil and gas drilling, and to extend tax cut passed during his first term. That disproportionately benefits the rich. Does it? I enjoyed the tax cuts. I'm not rich. Democrats wanted to let the tax cuts expire. I'm middle class. How am I benefiting from this? I was benefiting from his tax cut. Now I have to pay more taxes so these liberals can spend it on BS stuff. Trump, reasserted his claim that he will finance these plans with tariffs on imports of foreign goods, which experts say could make inflation worse for American consumers. Members of Congress are getting to work on one powerful bill that will bring our country back and make it greater than ever before. Trump wrote, "We must secure our border, unleash American energy, and renew the Trump tax cuts, which were the largest in history, but we will make it even better. No tax on tips," he added, hinting at the sweeping agenda he expects congressional Republicans to quickly enact, including a promise to remove income tax on service workers' tips. It will all be made up with tariffs and much more from countries that have taken advantage of the U.S. for years. It's very, very true. It is very, very, very true. So, no tax on tip. That will reduce a lot of income tax for some liberal states. And liberal states love taxes because it's not their money and they will spend it however the hell they want. And because the people vote for for the people who are in charge, they're not going to argue about it. They just go, oh, it's going to a good cause, right? And I'll give you a good example. I used to live in California. I recently went back to California because I moved my parents out of California in August. And I had to go get a U-Haul. The distance between my parents' house and the U-Haul location was about 7 miles, 6 to 7 miles. It took me about 35 minutes to travel that. In this 35 minutes, the roads were still deteriorating. Now, I have not lived there for 15 years. Before that, I lived in California for 15 years, and I used to drive those roads for 15 years, and it's still as bad, even worse than what they used to be. Now, California, especially LA, has a huge population. There's a lot of tax revenue in that area. The roads, garbage. Public service, garbage. Homeless, everywhere. Now, I live in Northern Virginia. It's very blue where I live, unfortunately, but our money is not wasted. The streets and the highways I drive on in Northern Virginia are paved every 2 years. They don't have to be paved. They're in really good condition too. But because the money allocated to repaving the roads get repaved. The infrastructure is really great. We don't have deteriorating infrastructure. Now, there's some parts in, let's say, Fairfax County, it's completely the opposite. Fairfax County is very liberal and they're wasteful with their money. And it is a very highly taxed county. Anyways, let's get back to this. House Leader Mike Johnson told Fox News earlier Sunday that despite having a razor-thin majority in lower chamber, he plans to pass the sweeping legislation in the House by early April and get it to Trump this by Memorial Day. While Johnson has made peace with what he called Trump's ideal of a big, beautiful bill, other Republicans on Capitol Hill have expressed reservations about the one bill approach. The right-wing House Freedom Caucus made its opposition to one big policy bill known last month in a letter to Johnson demanding one bill to deal with border security and a larger reconciliation bill covering tax, spending, energy, bureaucracy, and more. In the House, where the GOP has slimmest majority in nearly a century, it would only take one or two Republicans to break rank to jeopardize a piece of legislation prospect. In fact, it required Trump's personal intervention last week to get Johnson reelected Speaker after Representative Ralph Norman and Keith Self initially opposed. Now, those are rhinos anyways. Those are Trump deranged individuals, and they hate anything that Trump stands for. But guys, listen to this. We don't legally, the taxes, income taxes, was only to fund the World War II era and before that, and we shouldn't have been paying taxes all this time. But, now it is what it is. We can't really do anything about it. We have to pay our taxes. Two things are guaranteed in this life: taxes and death. We can't really get away from it. But single bill, I like the idea of a single bill. Because as we saw in December, where they were trying to pass a budget and they had these poison pills in there. Funds for this and funds for that, and we should fund this, and we should get money for this, and we should get money for that. And, we need to put money towards LGBTQ, and we need to put money towards the homeless, and we need to put money towards this. All this unnecessary money going to Ukraine, money going to, I don't know where, Money going to gender studies, money going to bullshit, right? And they make a 1,500-page bill, throw it in front of a representative 5 hours before voting. Now, Elon Musk got his hands on the bill and he axed. And that thing got axed, which was great. It became a single bill. It became a single funding bill to carry us a little bit further down until we could get a better comprehensive bill. Now, liberals hate that. You can't. They don't want to vote on a singular bill on a singular issue, because that way they can't get wasteful money for their pet projects. That's the problem for them. If we do single bill voting, they cannot get funding for their pet project, which is wasteful. About 99% of them are wasteful. And when they do that, they can, do what's the word I'm looking for? Quid pro quo. Because these politicians, they sell their votes. Because they do not vote from their best conscience. They do not vote for their constituents. They are voting for quid pro quo. I'm going to give you a vote, you have to give me this money. I'm going to give you a vote, you have to give this money. So that's how they vote. They vote based on what they're going to get out of it, right? So it's a trade-off. But when you do a single issue voting, they don't have that leverage anymore. They do not have that leverage anymore, because once their pet project, the wasteful tax money funded project comes to be voted on, it's gonna get killed. It's gonna get shut down. No one's gonna vote for it, which is the way it's supposed to be, right? So, anyways, the tariff things, it's gonna work, but we will pay a little bit higher price, but I'm all for it if it's gonna make the country much better, if we are gonna be more independent, and it's gonna bring a lot more jobs back into the country, to include some manufacturing. I'm not gonna say all manufacturing, but some manufacturing will come back. Anyways, let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button and like button. Peace out.